good to be back doing a video to show you what's going on my terrain table today. In this studio update I have a set that I've been working on through the holidays as much as I can. I know that everyone realizes the holidays is a slow time of year to be doing things besides holiday things. Plus my normal job, which I've never really told you guys that what I do, but I actually do have a real daily job that I do, and I come home and work on terrain at night. But between my real job and holidays and family things and work parties and things like that, I haven't had much time to sit down and do a video to show you guys what I've been working on. But I'm proud to show you this set. I've been working on this little by little. It's a 9-piece set, overgrown ruins, and as you can see, the ruins are also overgrown with mineral deposits. The trees are handmade, except for the pines. The pines are actually not handmade, they're hecky trees. But everything else, is pretty much hand done. I'm going to get up close and personal with each piece here in just a second and sort of give you an idea of how I achieved the things that I've done and sort of give you a better look at things. I'm going to do just a little bit more of an overall scope here just so you can see. I'm really proud of this set, and it will be going up for sale soon. I just need to get the sealant down on just a few more pieces. I've run out of my sealer, so I didn't want to wait to make the video. I've been really wanting to get some content on to the channel for you guys to see. I have a few new subscribers, and I want to say hello to you all and thank you all for subscribing. And I just wanted to get something up so you guys can see that I actually am still in business. We'll begin with the trees. This is the only part of the set that actually doesn't have a mineral on the base. I specifically left the minerals off so that they could be mixed in a little easier with all the terrain, and individually based them instead of mounting them onto a bigger base so that they could be individualized and sit on the board in different ways and not the same look every time. These trees, of course, are handmade. I made the wire frames for these like 3 or 4 months ago, and I was having a really hard time. I was using wood filler and trying to build up the body of a tree, and it just wasn't working. The effect was actually giving me a sort of a burnt log look. If I wanted my trees to look like they had burnt, that would have been an awesome way to do it, but I don't want them to look burnt. And then luckily my buddy Mel over at the Terrain Tutor, if you haven't seen his channel you're missing out, because it's a really good channel. I'll actually do a link below in the description, but he did a tutorial on some handmade trees that were actually wireframe trees also, and he used milliput to do the actual skin of the trees, and it worked out so much better for me. As you can see, the tree in the middle is a lot fatter than the other trees. That's the actual tree that I started with the wood filler, and after it dried, of course, like I said, the effect was just hideous, and I went over it with the milliput, so it made it a little fatter tree. I'm sorry I keep bumping this camera. I'm trying to get used to this new stand. But yeah, that's the tree set. Like I said, they're all individually based, so you could place them on the table anywhere. Different base sizes on pretty much all the trees. They will actually, most of them could sit on like other pieces of the set and blend in perfectly. So I always like to do my trees individually. Like I do have one piece that I'll show you, actually 2 pieces that will be later in the video that have a static tree, but That's the only two, and the rest of them are these individual trees that can be placeable anywhere on the board. I'm going to bring this one in a little close here so you can sort of see the bark texture on that. There we go. As you can see, the milliput worked out really well, and then I just used like a little, actually I don't have any sculpting tools, and I haven't done much sculpting. I plan on doing more, but I just used a knife and did the scrapings and scratched in some bark on these, and it turned out really well. And I want to say thank you to Mel the Terrain Tutor for the advice on using the milliput. It really helped me to get this done. And I'm going to move on to the next pieces. I wanted to share these two pieces with you next for a certain reason. These two pieces actually are just, I consider, scattered terrain. They don't serve much purpose except for just to fulfill the overall look of the set. The set is a 9-piece set. Of course, that's not counting the 7 individual trees. If you counted the trees as one piece, then it's actually a 10-piece set. If you count them individual, of course, it's, you know, a 15, 16-piece set, but I would just say it's like, you know, a 9-piece set with a bunch of individual trees. These are the only 2 pieces that are actually not functional to gameplay. There could be an argument maybe for line of sight blocking if it was sitting on maybe a table that already had a hill or whatever, but anyway, the reason I chose to show you these next is this piece. This was my actual test piece, and when I first started doing the mineral set, the inspiration came from doing one of my fountains that actually had the minerals on it, and actually got a really good response on Twitter and Facebook, and from the person who actually purchased the fountain, and the response was actually so good that I thought that I would just try to do a whole set. I liked the look of it. It reminded me of a certain game that I used to play. But this was the test piece, and as you can see, if I pull this in a little closer here, if I can get this camera to focus in on it, let me get this, there we go, right there. As you can see, like the bottom of like this crystal, there's a few more on there, but this is the best example to see right now. You can see the gaps. When I cut these pieces to different lengths and different heights and clustered them all together and glued them down, the bottoms were pretty rough. The plastic resin that I use, when it cures, it's pretty tough. And when I was cutting the pieces, the cuts weren't smooth. Actually, later on I figured out, after doing that and having trouble with this piece, I actually started cutting the pieces when I would bring them out of the mold, once the demold time was up. And the pieces were actually still a little softer at that point to where I could make an actual smooth, good cut and get angles. But anyway, for the most part, this was a test piece. And as far as the overall set, I don't really consider this a piece of the set. When I price the set out to sell it, I won't price this piece. This is going to be a free piece to go with the set, because I don't want it to represent the type of work that I will do, because although it looks good and there's not many gaps, and you know, some people might not pick it apart, I will pick it apart because it's my work and I want it to look good. As I bring it in closer here, get that to focus, you can see that gap there, and I just don't like it. Like I said, this was a test piece and I didn't want to carry on much further with it, or you know, try to make it look better. I just wanted to use it as an example before I did the overall set. But anyway, that's that piece. And then here's just another little scatter piece, little mounded rock. And on this piece, as you can see, I got better at putting the getting the bottoms down to no gaps. Actually started pinning, you can see on the bottom of this piece here, That's where I pinned the crystals, and then come back and sanded the bottoms to make sure there was no nothing sticking through or no bump outs. And actually, after pinning and making a lot of these crystals and pinning each individual crystal, I'll show you on a later piece that I actually came up with actually even better method than that, and more secure and a lot less time consuming. So I'm going to move on to the next pieces. And the next pieces for the set I'm going to show you here are the rocky outcroppings and the pond. I wanted to go with the still water look on the pond instead of the undulated look. As you can see, the reflection of my my paints, my paint rack on the wall. Yeah, I wanted this pond to have the stagnant look, and to be just still looking, because this is an overgrown set, so it's, you know, supposed to be somewhat lifeless until the war comes to the area. And then the rocks, it's just, you know, normal standing stone with a normal rock. The only difference is the minerals are actually overtaking the rocks themselves. Really love the rock texture that I got on these. And hold them in there. You can see the minerals cracking through the rock, busting through. And I'm going to grab a miniature here so you can just see there's plenty of room in between those for guys. Like I said, all the pieces except for the two that I just showed a second ago, the scatter little eye candy pieces, are functional for the game. And then here's the last piece. This is one of two pieces that actually have a fixed tree on the base. I just thought it looked really good. I wanted it to stay on there with the rock. Pan this up a little bit here. I just liked the look of it. And again, the rock has the crystals busting through, or the minerals. Some people prefer to call them crystals. Either way, I think these are a nice addition to the ruins. It gives the whole overall set of sort of a fantasy slash modern feel. You could put it on a fantasy board and it would fit right in, or you could put it on a 40K board and it looked like, you know, like what it is, ruins. Next up is this 1.5 inch hill with the mineral deposit growing in the center. It has pretty good movement all around for miniatures. The back wall here, or the back part of the hill, is a little steeper than the front, but for the most part troops could move around this pretty well, and also have the height is good for line of sight blocking. I'll get you a little better view of the mineral deposit here. The filler pieces in here are that's the leftover cuttings from when I would cut down and size the different crystals, and that's the leftover pieces plus plaster chunks. I didn't have enough leftover pieces off my cuttings to do all that, although I did cast a ton of crystals for this set. I actually made a mold so where I could do it quicker, but yes, a lot of this in here is plaster chunks also. Lastly, I have the ruins and what I consider the centerpiece of the set. This piece here, ruined corner with a tree growing on the edge. You also have the other ruins here. A wall with a partition wall coming out. And these are individualized enough to where you could spread them out on a table and them represent a building each, or you could do a layout to where it looked like one big overall building that had just over time decayed. And this is what you have left. The centerpiece, the tree on the back, of course, is handmade like the other trees. The only difference, of course, is that it's actually growing up on the wall. I'm going to bring it in a little closer here and let you get a better look at this piece, as well as I will do the other pieces too. I wanted to have an individual, unique look to this ruin, and while making my trees, I just thought, well, hey, I'm going to try to put a tree on this, and this is pretty much how it ended up. As you can see, the roots wrap around the wall there, grabbing on, and then they come down to the ground on this side. If you look really close, I'll bring it in here, focus in on it right here. If you look really close, you can see that the roots actually, well, the tree's not seated. The roots aren't connected. And there's a reason for that. The nightmares of shipping stuff like this, and the headache and worry of hoping that it gets there in one piece and that the customer is satisfied, led me to the choice that I would make this tree removable. As you can see, it just comes right off. And but as I molded it, and as the milliput was drying, I kept replacing it back on the wall, and I kept working the milliput to where that I felt secure that it would sit on there tightly and not be a hassle during games, like if you bump into it or whatever. As you can see, it's on there tight. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I've actually got just a small groove in this block here that holds onto it. It grabs inside the inside corner there. I mean, it's so trustworthy. Sorry about that. My camera kept telling me it was at 10%, but I just kept pushing the boundaries of the battery. Anyway, I was just about to flip this thing over and show you that how much I trust that this tree holds on. And here we go. As you can see, the tree has a good grip. So unless you're going to be extremely rough with this stuff, and if that case, then I just can't help you. It's on there to stay. And like I said, when someone actually purchases the piece, if they want to glue the piece down, I don't blame them. I mean, it's not going to be that big a deal to get some PVA glue under this thing, just get it seated there. But for the most part, for shipping purposes, no, I just don't feel comfortable with it. The other pieces, I'm just going to push this one back out of the way. As you can see here, other two little small individual ruined pieces that fit in, and like I said, you can just line these up however you want. They line up good with the centerpiece back there also, and they make a good addition to the set. And that is an overall look at the whole set. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you made it this far, then I really appreciate it. I know it was a long video, and I did a lot of rambling on some things, but there was some stuff that I just wanted to get through, and some points I wanted to make about the set. Like I said, I'm really proud of the set, and if anyone ever has an idea of some type of custom terrain you want made, my contact information is below. Or if you're interested in this particular set, contact me also with my contact information. And I want to say thank you for watching my video. Hello to my new subscribers. Thank you to my old subscribers. Happy New Year to all of you, and I promise to have more videos coming next year. Finally got through the holidays, through all of the things that slow you down for doing this kind of work, and next year will be more productive, more videos, more terrain, and hopefully more subscribers. So thank you.